Welcome, everybody, to yet another episode with the Young Democrats of Georgia Black Caucus podcast, where we interview and speak with community organizers, political candidates, and elected officials all across the state of Georgia here on the platform of the Young Democrats of Georgia Black Caucus. You always know I love to say we have a special guest today, but I really feel like we got a super special guest today because this is going to be when elected, this will be one of the youngest elected official that we have in the state of Georgia, former YDG President Bryce Berry.
I would like doing like applause. I think there should be applause. That's just me. That's just me though.
If I had the board connected right, we would have had the applause and everything. But we're gonna hit you one of these.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on.
No problem, Mr. President. It is nice to have you here. You know, we've been waiting for this for a minute, waiting for the perfect time, and I feel like there's no other perfect time than right now. So let's just go ahead and dive straight in. Can we give a little background of who you are and why we have you?
Yeah. So, well, thank you again for having me, and hello to everyone that's watching. So, my name is Bryce Berry. I am running for state representative in House District 56 here in Georgia. I'm the former president of Young Democrats of Georgia, as Devontae said. Also was youth floor director for the state party. Have worked on several campaigns from President Biden back in 2020, all the way up to some state level campaigns like Senator Jason Estevez and Phil Lallier when I worked in his legislative office, and so much more. I'm a public school teacher at my heart, though. That's why I got into the race, because there's never been a public school teacher in our state house. And in fact, I'll be the first public school teacher in our state house, which is incredibly important when you think about things like education funding or vouchers. The bills come up that deal with public schools. It's not a public school teacher that's there that's advocating for that. And that's why I got into this race. I saw fundamentally how our leaders are leaving our students behind, leaving our families behind, leaving our communities behind. I'm running against Misha Maynor, who switched parties back in July over school voucher bill. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. She can do what she wants to do with switching her own party. But what it represents is the sickness of our politics that leaves folks behind. Representation that constantly leaves us behind, leaves poor Black folks behind, and does not see them for the value that they bring to our district. And so I'm going to be a representative for all of us, for Midtown, for Bankhead, from Buckhead to Cascade Heights. That's what this race is about. We need a representative that's going to represent all of us, fight for all of us, and be a champion for each and every one of us.
Totally agree with that. And since I was going to save it for later in the interview, but let's go ahead and jump into one of my main questions that I had for you is, we know you're a graduate of Morehouse University.
Morehouse College.
Morehouse College. I'm sorry, I wasn't had the ability to go to such a established HBCU.
And God bless you for that. We still love you. We still love you.
I'm gonna save my comments for myself on that one. Try not to get our platform canceled. So to bring it back, with you graduating from Morehouse, I feel like a lot of times when we get these, well-established colleges and university graduates, people go into like being an attorney, being, CEO, whatever. Why is education such a big thing for you?
So I come from a family of educators. My mom was a teacher. My grandmother was a teacher. Her mother was a teacher. My aunts were teachers. So my whole life I've heard, like, Bryce, you're going to be a teacher when you grow up. And in fact, I did want to be an attorney. I did want to go the corporate CEO route. But my passion lies with education. I saw firsthand as a kid how the opportunities that I had, that I was having, was totally different than the opportunities my friends in private school were having. And that was nothing other than it was just a choice by our leaders to leave us behind. And so that's always part of my passion for education. And if you want to work in education, I feel like, because I love education policy, I cannot work in education policy and not be in the classroom. That's the fault of some Republicans right now, that they are passing these bills and they've never, ever been in the classroom. They don't understand what a classroom is like, or the issues and unique challenges that our teachers and students are facing now, especially post-COVID. And so if I want to work in education policy and make rules about education, I better have worked in a classroom. And that's why I keep going back to education, because we have to equal the playing field for all of our students.
Totally agree with that. So could you give us a quick synopsis of your your legislative plan for your district specifically, especially what you just mentioned. District 56 with Misha Manor did have a Democrat who then switched over to a Republican. What is something that you're going to bring to the District of 56 that is what's a part of your platform?
Well, my three main things I want to fight for and advocate for when I get elected, when I am elected. Education, first and foremost. Education be the top of the mind for every single legislator, because if we're not taking care of our students and the next generation, then we're fundamentally failing as a state body. So education is the first and fundamental thing I want to focus on. Second, affordable housing. I can get into affordable housing a little bit. There are over 300,000 Georgians each year that come down to our schools and learn our top institutions. And overwhelmingly, those folks want to stay in the state of Georgia. But why they don't stay, more likely, is because the cost of rent and the cost of housing is way too high. And so we know that we have a lot of work to do in bringing down the cost of housing. And lastly, healthcare. We are in a healthcare catastrophe in our state, with not expanding Medicaid and lack of reproductive freedom and banning gender affirming care. All those things are inhibitors on the access to healthcare, especially my district that has no hospitals, no clinics. If you want to go to a hospital in my district, you want to go to a clinic, you better go to a CVS, and that's the closest option that my folks have. That's not right. We know that that should not be the case in what is the greatest state for business. And so healthcare and equalizing the options for healthcare and making the healthcare market more competitive and strong in the state of Georgia through parts of my plan.
I love it. I love that. So let's go ahead and take a stab at the number one thing that I'm pretty sure you've heard. You're probably going to continue to keep hearing. Let's just nip it in the butt right here. What do you say to people who say, I think he's too young? I think he's educated. I think he has, the capabilities, but I think maybe he's just too young right now. What do you say to those people?
I love being a part of the generation Gen Z that is not waiting our turn to step up and lead. And overwhelmingly, I've talked to folks as old as 96 and as young as 18. And you know who I hear mostly about the need for new leadership, new perspectives, and new ideas more? It's our older generation. Our older generation is craving younger, fresher blood in our state house. And that's what we need. We can't keep going on with the politics that has failed us and left us behind for the past 20 years. We need something new. We need something better. We need new perspectives. We have to get rid of this mold that experience is only marred by titles. That's not true. We need folks that have lived in poverty. We need teachers. We need organizers. We need folks that have been through the struggle and back in our state house, because those are perspectives that should be leading and should be winning in our state house. And when we talk about looking at all of Georgia, we cannot truly be a state house and a state body for all of Georgia if we do not have the perspectives and ideas of every single Georgian. And so I simply say, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? Now is our moment for this generation to step up. A generation that has been left behind. Ultimately, I was talking about this earlier with a friend. Our generation is marred with debt. We are not able to afford a house. Our average savings is less than $5,000 for Generation Z. We are further behind the 8 ball than they were in 1980, when they can just graduate college and buy a house automatically. Mm-hmm. And that has been a systematic thing that has traveled down through several leaders and several legislators and sessions and so much more. But ultimately, it shows that what the politics of what has been is not working. And so it's high time we try something new in the state of Georgia. And so my whole thing is, if you're ready for something new, if you think that we can deserve better and we can do something better than what we have been getting, then let's get it done. And that's why I'm the candidate.
Boom, mic drop on that one. So let's go a little bit deeper into it then. Do you feel like, because I feel like I've been hearing this question 1,000 times on certain panels and just random questions, is young people, why aren't young people involved? Why aren't young people getting involved? One, I think we are heavily involved. I think our numbers show it. But
yeah,
you think if we're going with that narrative that they're saying that young people aren't involved, do you think that starts to change when they see younger people in office, when they see people like themselves taking the bull by the horns and saying, I'm going to run for this?
Absolutely. I think not only do we need faces, but also we need action. Generation Gen Z, almost a Generation Z, like I am an old person. But Gen Z is a generation that needs tangible results. It's not only enough to have a young face. That is good. That is moving us forward, yes. But also we need action on housing. We need action on healthcare. We need action on economic development. Things that overwhelmingly our generation cares about and needs to get done so that we can survive in this society that is going to be left to us. We need action. And so you have to give young folks a reason to turn out. Yes, you can put a face to it, and I can do everything I can, and I will do everything I can to talk to young folks across the state about the need to get out and get in the vote and to get involved civically. But I can only do so much. Unless we have the buy-in of our elected officials that are ready to sit down and do the work for young people, then we will not see the massive groundswell that folks are looking for. You have to give folks a reason. And we saw back in 2020 when we gave folks a reason to turn out. It was a fight for democracy, a fight for good versus evil. Young folks turned out. In fact, in the state of Georgia, we had the highest youth turnout in the nation, and that's something I was proud to have led as chair of Students for Biden here back in 2020. But in 2024 and beyond, we had to keep going, giving folks messages and reasons of why they should turn out, why they should be involved. And it's not as simple as to just say it's important.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be it's important because, and offer reasons, and then results. And that's what I'm all about, results.
We do need some results, most definitely.
Yes, we do.
So and let's get more on a personal, real level at this point. What is the biggest struggle that you think you go through as a candidate?
I think the biggest struggle for me as a candidate is, being a teacher, is a struggle in itself. Teaching is 24/7 thing. It does not end. You come home, you're grading papers, you're getting ready for the next lesson next day. But also I'm having to deal with, going to 3-4 events a night, talking to different voters and canvassing and so much more. Raising money as a young candidate especially is so hard because you have to pass that viability test from so many donors who might donate to you just because they like you, but might not believe in you that much. And so raising money is also a huge impediment as a candidate. So I think those are a big thing. The time schedule, just the time management as being a teacher. I work from 8 to 5. After I leave work, I'm literally going home. I might get 30 minutes in the gym if I'm lucky. If my campaign manager loves me enough, she'll give me 30 minutes in the gym. And then I'll get on the phone to start doing call time. And I'm doing call time to about 10:30 at night and just calling folks for money and trying to pass the viability tests. And it's exhausting to pass the viability test every single day. With every single call, you have to pass, just show yourself worthy. And it's exhausting.
Well, I'm exhausted by definitely hearing that, especially, I ain't like doing homework myself in school. So coming home and grading papers on top of that.
The grading papers on top of that, look.
So what do you do to balance that in your life? What is some things that you like to do to just kind of give you that balance, that centeredness, that, do you go for a walk? Do you listen to different type of music? What's it for you?
So I go to the gym. I'm like a gym buff. Like, I don't know where this came from. Like 13-year-old Bryce was crazy because 13-year-old Bryce was a heavier set guy. I'll say that, and would never have been in the gym. So yes, I go to the gym. I cook. I love to cook. Y'all know I love to cook. I cook every single day without fail. And I can make a big meal even at 11 o'clock at night. So I just love to cook. It's so therapeutic. It's so relaxing, and I'm good at it. Like, no one's touching me in cooking. Like, barbecue, y'all want to have a barbecue off? Like, let's do it. Like, no one's touching me. Third thing, yes, it is music. So shameless plug. Go stream Cowboy Carter right now. It is one of the greatest albums out right now. But music, listening to music and watching movies and Netflix, that's always a good release.
So you would agree you need the balance. There's no way that you can just do this 24/7. How?
Oh, absolutely. You need the balance. You have to find some time to fit it in. Even if it's just, as I said, sometimes I go to the gym for just 30 minutes or even sometimes less. Just go No, just do a little quick weight lift.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you kind of need sometimes, and just okay, phew, all right, let me go back and cook me, or even it's like okay, I'm just cook a hamburger tonight, like something simple, 20 minutes. That's still like oh, you can perfect it with the seasonings and the sauce that you make. You can put some flair into it. So you got to make the time for it, and it's definitely needed. You know, I'll give props to. I just want to shout out quickly Dr. Samad, who was also in this race, and she ran a fantastic campaign, and we were fierce and fair together. And unfortunately, she had some health issues, and she told me she's like, Bryce, get your rest. And so, and I told her same thing, get her rest. We always tell each other that whenever we see each other at an event, get your rest. And so I'll say to any candidate, just get your rests.
Mm. Let's go touch back into the school system really quickly. What are some things that you're exposed to on a day-to-day basis in the classroom, in school in general, that you're like, I need to change this as a legislator? What falls under that? Because we know, certain powers fall under certain entities, but as you as a legislator, but soon to be legislator, what are some things you would like to change that you witness in schools?
Well, I'll share a quick story about and kind of the reason why I got into this race in the first place. There's this. I have a student, and I say this just to not as a. It shouldn't be the case, but it is. She's a very bright girl, very intelligent. I want to like always answering questions, does her homework, and asking middle schools to do their homework already is like a hard task. But she never complains about homework, so I was like, this is a student like always high flyer. And one day she went home from school, and all her stuff from her house was on the street. She had been evicted, and she came to school the next day, and there was a shift. She started having behavioral issues. She stopped doing her homework. She stopped answering questions in class. She started skipping class and started acting up more. And as much as we tried to save her, she kept going down this bad path. And we can't blame her. She has a lot going on in life, but oftentimes our students carry so much with them, and life situations cause a lot of problems that we see in the classroom. And I understand that what is going on in her life right now is a policy issue. The fact that her family cannot afford to stay in her home is a policy issue. And we dig deeper. Her home was being bought out by a developer for gentrification purposes. And so she already couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford it. And so that's what really why I got into this race. Seeing that student and seeing her struggle and knowing how much I tried, how much we all tried, everyone on my team, we tried just to keep her afloat, to keep her engaged and keep her mind straight. And she ultimately found a bad path. And that's why I got in this race. That's what we face every day. We have students that are homeless, students who don't have food on the table, students whose parents work 3-4 jobs just to make ends meet. That's why I'm in this race. Because every single one of those issues that our students carry with them, every single one of those issues that our families carry with them each and every day is a policy issue. And I keep going back to this by leaders that have not seen us and have failed us. Related back to another question, that's why we need new leadership. That's why we need younger voices. That's exactly why. Because the politics of what it has been is not working for us. And I cannot continue to sit here and look at my student as if she does not deserve a fighter, a champion, and someone that's going to really advocate for her and her family. That's what she needs. And it's happening right here in District 56. And I believe that I'm the one that can get it done.
Well, since that story really hit, and since you ended it the way you did, I want you to tell me why Bryce Berry. No political correctness, no humility. I want you to say why Bryce Berry for District 56.
Look, we have several challenges that we're facing. I went through several of them: education, healthcare, housing. Talking about pollution. Mosley Park is dealing with a lot of noise pollution from the I-20 barrier, and I'm going to work to get that done as well, get that fixed. We have several challenges that we're facing. Challenges that persisted for 5-10 years. And overwhelmingly, we're getting apathetic. But my message to voters, my message to all of y'all is that it can get better. And it doesn't get better through one election. We need to continue to find leaders that inspire us and that move us and that will continue to break down walls for the people. I got my start when I was 13 years old. When I was 13, my street, Michael Brown was murdered by Ferguson PD. And seeing that and remembering that so vividly, that story and that scene sparked my interest in organizing. I am a lifelong organizer, and I hate that, I'm not going to be called a politician because that's just, oh, God. But I'm an organizer at heart. Someone that believes at heart. I'm someone that knows that when the people come together, there is nothing that we cannot do. There's nothing that we cannot stop. Nothing that cannot stop us and impede us from getting progress. I'm a fighter. I'm a champion. And I just want you all to see the goodness that I'm ready to bring. I want you all to see the light that we can produce in the district. I want you all to see the progress that we can make. Close out with this. The book of Micah, chapter 6, verse 8 says, "What does God require of you but to do justice?" Justice is meeting folks where they are. Justice means my student not being evicted from her house. Justice means the minimum wage not being the lowest in the state, in the country. Justice is there being a hospital and a clinic in my district. Justice means Mosley Park residents not having to deal with the noise pollution because of the I-20 barrier. That's justice. Justice means our state doing what it needs to do to meet the needs of our people, to do better by every single person. And so, why Bryce Berry? Because Bryce Berry is going to do justice. We're going to do better together. And I'm just someone that believes that when we come together, there is no one and nothing that can stop us.
Preach, my brother. Preach right there. My Bible thumper's gonna love that one. We're gonna click that. Man,
I love Micah. I love the book of Micah. It's a great book. And it speaks to about, I love that it speaks to like a community. And it's God giving us orders in life. He's giving us requirements. He gives us commandments, but this is an order. And his order is do justice, do right by others, treat others fairly, treat others with kindness, do better. That's an order. And so when we talk about these progressive issues like expanding Medicaid and fully funded public schools, let's put in the mindset. This is doing right by folks, and that's an inherently godly thing to do.
Ooh, might have Reverend Bryce Berry on here coming soon, man. Coming soon, you feel me? Okay, so before we close it out, we like to end it on something a little fun, quick little. I stole this from Brene Brown. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna give her credits. We're gonna call it the Rapid Five.
Okay.
I'm gonna spit you 5 questions, 5 quick answers, and hopefully 5 seconds. I mean, if you go 7 seconds, it's cool.
Okay.
Now,
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Flats or wings?
Flats.
Favorite artist?
Stevie Wonder.
Favorite politician?
Justin Jones in Tennessee.
Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite state?
Georgia.
Let's go.
Like, where else?
I was gonna see if that was gonna hit him with a, what I'm saying.
I was gonna say Montana. Like, no, sir. Georgia. No state like
Wyoming. That. No Wyoming.
Where's Wyoming? Point to Wyoming on the map right now for me.
I don't know. Kanye had it on the album somewhere. It's like a mount. I don't know.
I don't listen to Kanye like that. So.
Mr. President, I appreciate you for taking time to come speak with us today. Of course, you're always president in my eyes. You feel me? We appreciate everything that you've done. So before we close it out, we would like to give you a quick little 60 seconds to just spill whatever's on your mind, whatever's on your heart, and what people need to know.
Well, look, y'all. Thank you again, Devontae, for having me. Side note, I'm proud of Devontae. I remember when Devontae called me and asked me to join the organization, and took him under my wing, and now he's thriving. He's vice president and Black Hawks chair. So Devontae, I'm proud of you, man. I really am. And it's all love over here. But look, y'all, if you believe that we can do better if we believe that this state that we currently have is not the state that we should have, and that we can go far beyond our imagination. We can dream more than we can ever dream before. We can do more than we've ever done. Go to barryforga.com and let's get this done together. Again, barryforga.com, barryforga56 on Instagram, barryforga on Twitter, and we can make this state the state that we all deserve.
Boom, just like that. So we're going to go ahead and close it out. We appreciate everybody who tuned in. And if you watch this on after it's recorded, again, follow Bryce at Barry4GA56 on Instagram. Check out his website, BarryForga.com. One more time, follow Bryce on Instagram, BerryForga56 on Instagram, and check out the website, Barry4GA.com. Mr. President, it's been a pleasure, and we'll see you on the campaign trail, my brother.
See you soon. Thank y'all.
Peace.